How are you all doing, everybody? My name is Ryan Phillip. So it's been a long time. I was very lazy. The majority of the times when I actually make videos, it's either I'm lazy, so even when I have time, I actually don't make a video, or I just can't be bothered, or I actually don't have time. That's on the subject of the streaming. On the streaming part, you have like, I don't mind streaming. I don't mind doing that. It's just I need a long period of time where I know I won't be interrupted, like 2-3 hours. And I also want to be streaming some other games, for example Robocraft, which I'm going into a bit more. The reason why I'm not, the thing is I actually like making videos. I actually do, don't mind me on that. I really love making videos, and a lot of people either don't notice this or whatever. The only thing that I need to note in this is the fact that while I love making video games, not making video games, recording me playing video games, I enjoy playing certain other games a bit more currently. Mostly because the thing with Pokemon is it's I don't know where I can go with this argument. I just don't feel like it. Like a lot of the metagame, especially in LC, and most of the tiers that I've currently restricted myself to are anything goes, LC. I am going a bit more into VGC 2016 a bit more right now, at least, and that's about it. Other tiers like Ubers I have not played in such a long time. Like it feels like I dropped that one. It feels like it, and it's pretty straightforward that I actually managed to do that. Oh well. Regardless, I'm actually gonna go into, as you might have noticed by the title, this is a state of the metagame video. I'm not gonna be the last one. I actually care about a couple of things a lot, to the point where I actually want to talk about those a lot. Like, I've managed to get a couple of teams. Like a week ago, I was sure I would have quit LC. And the reason why is because just some parts of LC were so boring. They had so little view of different teams. Like, I can name you just a handful of team forms, and the others are variations between most of those. In the SPLC, don't get me wrong, in that one you saw a lot of variation, even a lot of teams that I did not expect people to actually use anymore. Like, Onyx is not bad, for example, it's just still trappable by Diglett, and even quite easily. Once its 30 is broken, it's Diglett bait. Even with its huge ass defense, it's just Diglett bait. Oh well. So I'm actually going to talk about why this is quite important. There has appeared about a week ago like a purely Choice Scarf team. This is the already with Ghastly included version. It was like Scarfed Poniard, I think, on this slot, rather than Ghastly. And the reason why I went with Poniard is because it would else lose to Sticky Web teams, Omanite, and something else, and I don't remember what the last one was. Oh yeah, it also dealt with poison. Fairy types. I mean, this team overall, you wouldn't expect something like this. This is very threatening. Once you notice it has all scarfed, it should be easier to deal with as well as easier to revenge kill. But it's a pretty overall good balanced team, if I did say so. But as you might have noticed by just these are all ordered by what I found a week ago to be the most common thing I have seen. And yes, I have seen so many people caring to build something with Trick Room. Not necessarily having to use Trick Room. No, I've seen a lot of people talk about, okay, I need to make a Trick Room team. And then a couple of weeks before that, there were people arguing like, okay, what were the best Pokemon for Trick Room teams? So it seems as if they were either preparing for it or if they just suddenly got hyped on it. I don't know whether or not it's one of the two. Trick Room in general is pretty damn uncommon in LC, so I was very surprised seeing that. Some things, however, I have changed my opinion on, and I will be going more into that. But as you can see, I placed Dick Floon as the last one because it seems more that people want to counteract want variation in a metagame they choose themselves to prefer. So I don't give a fuck about what your opinion is or what their point of view is on that. But okay, that was their choice. If they want to change it now, it's too late. Take it as it is. Um, but as I was saying, Tailwind. I've seen so many people suddenly go when actually the post was made, like arguing a lot of speeds control. Suddenly, a huge race of people using things like Tailwind, Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb was already used. Don't get me wrong on that. Trick Room, as I just said. Sticky webs less than you did expect, even though I have seen some people try more innovative things with Trick Room as well. This is just a standard Trick Room team, don't take any notice in that. But let's just talk about some of the most important parts. First of all, Tailwind. Why I have Memento, that should be Encore, I'm sorry. This is what I'm supposed to talk about. Tailwind, mostly smacked on with Cudney, Arkan, Willoughby, and Fletchling. Or Cudney, Fletchling, then Arkan, then Willoughby. Mostly in that order, even though Arkan and Willoughby can be switched. Those are seeming to be the best options for Tailwind setters overall, and those are generally the better options. Best abusers for that, I have seen a lot of people make use of Skrelp, which otherwise isn't that much use, because even with sticky webs it has quite lacking speed, only hitting 12 at absolute maximum, meaning 13 I think, 13 yeah, at absolute maximum. So even with a choice scarf or with a boost of +1 roughly, because trick webs works a bit differently in LC. It does still have the same effect, however when you try adding multipliers like Omanite at a +2 boost, it actually hits 17 rather than 19, which is a contrary to the +2 -1 is +1. No, it's actually +2 equal, that actually means times 2, so 13 times 2 times 0.67, which is number being used for sticky webs, and then you get a result of 17 rather than 19, which makes a very important difference on speed tie, because most of the tiers are oriented around the 17 speed tier, as it is so important. One of the biggest downfalls of Pawniard, without a doubt. Pawniard has amazing offensive pressure, only few things that can even slightly come to dealing properly with it, and well, properly I shouldn't say, it's more like one to deal with either getting that item knocked off, meaning they will be weakened at a later point, or being flinched by Iron Hat with that chance. It's a small chance, but it is like people are obsessed with it. Oh, it's a hippo. Yeah, that's not safe against Barnyard because it can knock off and then start Iron Hat flinching. Yeah, not safe. Things like that, just I don't like that kind of arguments. I still consider Pokemon like Hippo to be a very good answer against Pawniard, especially the more defensive Hippo set, as the mixed set is more common right now. Don't take a notice in this. People have suggested me to actually close this thing, so I'm actually going to do that for now because it is highly irrelevant. Pokemon like this is not necessarily a good set. On complete contrary, it needs a move like Thief most of the times. You will end up running U-turn. Those kind of moves are generally better options. Pokemon like Arkan are also very good. Slightly better right now than they were previously, but that works both ways. Trick Room, as always, is disruptive. Extraordinarily disruptive. Like, a majority of teams don't prepare for this because there is no reason to prepare for it. The majority of times you won't see this playstyle. Why? Because it's either hard to pull off or just very much downfall on the moment it can use the Trick Room. Once Trick Room goes up, you are gonna go down. If you don't go down, then you win. Because it is pretty damn hard majority of times to get up a Trick Room. Once you do get it up, you better be killing something, or else you will most definitely lose as a Trick Room user. Because getting up Trick Room another time very often results into losing one or two Pokemon. even when used properly, and I've seen some people actually manage to pull this off properly. Mostly this core, even though I've seen different cores as well. The majority of people that so not the majority. I mean that group of people that were referring to Trick Room setters, they made like a very odd list of Pokemon that were best at setting Trick Room. Pokemon like Spritzy, for example, were good options. Their reasoning wasn't too preferable. Pokemon like Slowpoke, for example, were less preferable for setting up Trick Room, even though it is alright for setting up Trick Room, honestly. Though it is not that offensive, it is still very durable. It is one of the most reliable setters rather than one of the most effective setters. Pokemon like Porygon and Spritzy obviously are two of the best options without a doubt, but you also have other Pokemon, for example, that's Psychic type. I don't get on his name. And then you have like Pumpkaboo, like Ghost, Normal, Fairy, and Psychic. Just those. And you have abusers like Skrelp, which have the amazing Poison typing, and that's making a very solid core without much hesitation. Pumpkaboo happens to be a very good Pokemon to combine with Skrelp generally. So yeah. Even though it's funny because saying okay, Pumpkaboo does very well with Skrelp. Well, the Pumpkaboo set I'm referring to right now, which is the bulkier Trick Room set, isn't actually that great with Skrelp. Oh well. I've also been trying to make something like this. This is a team I very much like. I will be going fully in depth about this one if I eventually will get a video up. I don't have much time right now, but I do feel like streaming in a couple of days or so. Maybe? I don't know. Sticky Webs, as always, was good. This is just a very old team. Don't take too much notice in it. The reason why I'm running Surf on this one was because at that metagame it was like lesser. What was it again? I don't even remember. Dang. Things like Giga Drain allow you to somewhat beat Staryu. Somewhat. The biggest problem with it is it doesn't really allow you to beat anything. Staryu generally still wins. What was it again? Damn. I feel like I have a blackout. Oh yes, stuff like Dazzling Gleam. This should be HP Fight. This is a really old team. I really made this a long time ago. This is the poorest example. However, there were some other teams. I don't have one here. Too bad. Phone stuff. Yeah, I've been making a couple of teams on phone because I was bored. Speed boosts. I have never seen this many Torchic Carvanha cores. I've even seen Torchic Carvanha Venipede, Venipede Torchic, Venipede Carvanha. Just speed boost is a very important element. Archon I have found to be a great Pokemon in this specific core, even though many other Pokemon can fill the slot, or separate parts of that this Pokemon can do to fill that slot. I just found this one to be working very, very nicely. Oh, my neck. Pokemon like Carvanha are without a doubt one of the better Pokemon in the current metagame, even without Aqua Jet, mostly because once you get up a Protect, you really want to have a safe switch into this thing that isn't the Fight type, because then Headbutt is for whatever reason even more common, and honestly, I see reasoning to that because it's just such a good move currently. Offensive Torchic, not necessarily. Even a Berry Juice set with just more offensive investment in special attack for Fire Blast, or a bulkier set with Berry Juice, just bulkier set with Sword and say, those can also work, don't get me wrong. So you get stuff like this. The most effective fire types currently seem to be Flame Charge, Ponyta, and Torchic. Mostly those two. The other fire types have just dropped. It's literally the speed boost allowing you to deal with Diglett that allows this Pokemon to work so effectively, even if it doesn't have recovery, even if it lacks so many other things. It's purely speed boost that saves it, which is reasonable. And then we get to another list of Pokemon. Sorry. Whatever this contains is like hyper offensive balance mix. I just got reminded of Vuban's set, who he ran like, I'm not sure if he if he ran Icicle Spear or I think he ran Surf, Ice Shard, Rock Blast, Shell Smash. And the reason why Surf is, even though it has this pretty damn low special attack, with a little bit of investment, it was actually able to get like a shitload of important KOs, like so many unexpected KOs that would normally be able to deal with Shelter, meaning it would be very much luring and counteracting, allowing you to pierce through some parts of the team much easier. For example, this thing can pretty easily lure Pokemon like Pawniard once it gets up its boost. Even though Pokemon like Pawniard very often actually, if you set up with Shelter early and expect a Pawniard to come in, most of the people will actually go for an attack to actually get some damage on Pawniard if they see there is no Wish Passer on your team. You just want to get that thing a bit worn down so you can actually smash at a later point and make use of that boost. Because like this, you won't be doing anything. Choice Scarf Shelter still exists, and this is why some people still switch in Pawniard, which is completely reasonable because sometimes Choice Scarf Shelter can be very easy to suspect and very easy to see. Magnemite, such a great Pokemon as Metagame with Ender. Ender allows you to deal with Diglett partially, or at least it allows you to deal better with Diglett. Like, oh, you see Stealth Rocks? You see Diglett? Yeah, okay, like this. No, Pokemon like... the best play would still be setting up a substitute with Diglett. As the moment he uses Ender, you just want to make sure you can deal with it like that. Magnemite, I can also run a Choice Scarf set to deal with Diglett better, with Diglett, I should say, but still doesn't allow him to get fully picking up all the important KOs. That's what I mean. No, that's not what. Oh, god damn. What I mean with the Choice Scarf set is it lacks when it comes to the more defensive uses of the Sturdy set. Majority of the times I still see people running around with either Athletic or Sturdy. Both options can work really, not Athletic, what the hell? Athletic, yeah. I have seen a couple with Magnet Pull as well, but those very often run HP Fire to lure Ferroseed, which honestly I have no idea why you would use that, because Ferroseed seems to be very much not used. It seems it fits in a very odd group right now. It feels like it's more of an option to deal with Almanite and Smashers and such, rather than it feels to deal with so many other things. Rather than it feels to deal as a general wall. People tend to use Pawniard a lot more now because Pawniard has so many. It is hard to list even all the positives that Pawniard has currently. Even though it is Diglett weak, it is about the only component that is Diglett weak that is still so high ranked and not affected by it, because it just keeps gaining more and more and more, and still it is influenced by Diglett. In fact, Diglett needs to run a substitute just to have a better chance at dealing with it. And very often you can still outstall that, as there are only 5 turns tops in which you can use substitutes consequently, and that is still the better play. So going for a knockoff or predicting the right turn for a Sucker Punch generally just is the better play. Might sound odd, but I have seen not many people lose from that. I myself lose very often because for whatever reason my opponent knows when I make that play, even though I take the exact same long time periods between and I completely randomize these odds. Odds, even though they were in my favor, I just keep losing because I'm a fuck retard at that front. I really suck at battling. As I was saying, looking up Diglett, it had like a chance to KO. That, however, is pretty important role right here, because it allows him to get one more attack or go with Stealth Rock damage, if I remember correctly. Yep, it does. This allows him to at least get off his attack, so you can beat Choice Scarf Magnemite if it doesn't run sturdy. If it does run sturdy, Stealth Rocks combined with EQ make sure everything of that dies. Getting up Substitute also allows you to deal with Magnemite in that regard better if you know it. Well, if you know it is Choice Scarf, why are you sending in Diglett before his item is knocked off? I mean, well. Then again, why did it get its item knocked off? Pokemon like Mienfoo, this is more. Normally it runs like Calm and 14 defense. Generally, just careful. I mean, not Calm. This is a more common spread. High jumping allows you to deal with. What was it again? Porygon better. I think the more offense. Venom Pass set is pretty similar, though it is slightly bulkier. This one, Porygon, the bulky attacker set, that's the set I was going to refer to. High jump kick, even though it's not, it shouldn't be that high invested. Yeah, like this, and adding Stealth Rocks, yeah. 75% to one hit KO, that is very important because any moment you get chip damage, this is a proper KO. Chip damage does not allow Drain Punch to get a KO thanks to its extraordinarily unfortunate low roll. That is very consistent. Like, this is a 4 points drop increase. Like, if it was 72, then it would be slightly better. Then again, this is a generally pretty good set to deal with Porygon. It also allows you to deal with, what was it again? Chance to get KO'd by Abra gets reduced to only 6.3%, even though I've seen only a couple of Abras. Majority of people that run Abra are either very high in ladder or very low in the mid ladder. Like, huh? Regardless. Then you have Pokemon like Fungus, just as much used as always. Just as much used. Mienfoo, I have seen very few people actually run offensive Mienfoo. Like a Life Orb, very few people run that. Eviolite offensive sets, more than Life Orb in fact, but still uncommon as well. And then the bulkier set of the 14 defense, 12 special defense one, and 17 speed of course. I have seen that very often. That is the majority of the people that run Mienfoo properly. When I say properly, I mean like you can run standard sets and try to limit yourself to those standard sets. And with standard sets, I even include odd moves, say Poison Jab for whatever reason. I guess it hits Cottonee. Moves like Stone Edge, Acrobatic are also options. Taunt as well. I've seen a lot of things run on Mienfoo currently. Battle Pass with Sword Dance. Battle Pass set, even though there is a standard set for this, even this one, I have seen people run like no 16 attack, just Sword Dance. Works, you just miss out on a small boost and small damage difference. That can actually be vital. Vullaby! I have seen a few special attacker sets, mostly because of luring Pawniard. And I think you see why I keep saying luring Pawniard, because that is so goddamn important right now. But besides luring Pawniard, because this thing is one of the greatest Pokemon to lose against Pawniard, the special sets, I have seen one guy use Snarl, which misses out on a couple of important KOs, but allows it with Roost to beat, I don't remember what it was. He did not run HP Fight, which honestly I think was very stupid, but the set he specifically used with Snarl allowed him to beat certain special attackers effectively, because he can out damage them, especially thanks to Air Slash flinching if he actually wants it, even when Snarl already is very good at it. Very good at stopping Pokemon like that. I think it was Pokemon like Tri-Attack, Bulky Offensive Porygon, I think. I don't remember the calcs. I don't remember them. That was one of the things. Very few people have actually run that, but I have seen some people run it. That's interesting. That's goddamn interesting. Now, pardon me. The defensive set and the offensive set. The offensive set was like at one moment gigantically hyped. It's even raised its viability purely because of that set, which honestly is a great set because you can U-turn out of a Poniard and go into Diglett and done. Gone is your Poniard because you can somewhat outdamage it with Diglett. What? You can deal with Poniard with Diglett. If you suck like me, you don't. Oh well. Mienfoo, of course. And Diglett, yeah, I want this thing gone, but it stays, and I have to deal with that, which I am completely fine with. I'm actually completely fine with that. The funny thing is, a lot of people think, oh, you're so salty about this. That is so generalized and just such a wrong mind. It is just wrong. It's just wrong. Oh well. Oh, it's bulky offensive teams like Laleep, please realize this. Laleep is mediocre, but amazing in any regard in the current metagame. Now, why do you think that is? Deals with water spam, or the vast majority of water spam. Deals with, what was the other part? It deals with fletchling Diglett core. It somewhat deals with, pardon me, Drifloon. If it actually gets up an ancient power boost, it can Drifloon from that. That is highly important. Though it can be PP salt even. And that is very unfortunate for sure. Giga Drain allows it to deal with that. Earth Power allows it to, what was it? Just not 2-hit KO. I think it had like, even with Stealth Rocks, you had like a very unfortunate chance of getting it kill on Barnyard. Standard. Why does this thing not have slight bit of increase? Oh, this is the 18 defense one. That one I shouldn't even be running anymore. Yeah, with Stealth Rocks it was like absolute KO, and I think this one doesn't. Yeah. That's what it was. That was what it was. If I can basically drop this because it's completely irrelevant. This has no chance to get the KO with Stealth Rocks up, however there was a 2-hit KO, so it is like a good thing to lure Poniard, though you cannot ensure it to deal with Poniard, as Poniard can just Iron Head you and you are gonna be taking either a monstrosity of damage or you're gonna die. And most of the time the Leap can't afford taking this much damage. This is a lot. Though this is the 16 defense set, and I have no goddamn idea why people actually run this much HP. I know the importance of running that HP, but I also know that investing in the special attack as well as the speed might sound a bit odd, but it allows you to just out damage certain things and overall gives you a slightly better chance against, I think it was Spritzy. Even though Spritzy should beat you with Moonblast alone, you could, what was it, understand you could beat it, and some other stuff. Odd list, but that's completely out of the vision of Laleep right now. The set I'm running here is even inferior in general, because the defense should not be that high. Oh well. The reason why it is currently just so great is because it gives you a rock user that is not extremely unfortunately typed when it comes to current metagame, because you either need to run Poniard, which I see no problem with, just when you're using Poniard you want to go on offense with Poniards, because that's one of the biggest two positives about Poniard. It has bare to no switch-ins, especially currently, thanks to Diglett. I'm looking at this kind of stuff. Pokemon like Volib, Larvesta, I mean, generally unfortunate. Still, they are amazing Pokemon. It's just they dropped notably in usage thanks to Diglett. And this is one of the very few Pokemon that very notably dropped in that regard. A lot of other people disagree with that, though the numbers on this specific Pokemon compared to the majority of others don't lie. Though that can be blamed to many other things, as a lot of Pokemon that were less fortunate in the metagame did increase, but that kind of argument is already done. I shouldn't even start on that. And I respect other people's opinion on that, and I completely agree with some people suggesting Diglett should stay for such kind of form of metagame. Though many other forms of argumentation, I'm not even gonna go into that because that's just many of those were just utterly bad. Though I do need to say it's not like I am perfect in that regard. I've made a lot of poor arguments myself, which I completely agree with. I completely admit, not agree with. I might actually cut that out, but this is quite hilarious. I find that quite funny. That I messed that part up so much. Pokemon like Corphish, as I just said with the water spam, Pokemon like Corphish are great because Diglett and its metagame, as well as Smashers in general. Dealing with Drifloon is important. Drifloon, another one. Majority of teams you will see are extraordinarily offensive or extraordinarily balanced, and that might sound odd, like saying extraordinarily balanced. No, I mean like they are very easy to see. This is bulky offense, this is hyper offense, this is balance. Even though hyper offense as a whole is a bit odd, you basically get things like this as hyper offense, and Pokemon like Vullaby should be changed for, say, Fletchling in that vision, because Fletchling can offensively pressure those Pokemon rather than Vullaby doing defensive pressuring, and blah blah blah. You get my point. But yeah, so that's basically the order in which I found interesting things about the metagame. I do need to say this is 1 week ago. I made this completely 1 week ago, so I wouldn't even say it's current metagame. It is a week ago. It is the metagame from a week ago. I am trying to view at some odd things. Oh yeah, I was also gonna say stall teams. Stall teams see a bit of use. Trubbish is completely worthless, so ignore that one being there. Pokemon like Flame Charge Ponyta, however, that's interesting. Like specifically these 5 Pokemon without the Trubbish, that's a very solid team for the current metagame. I'm not even joking, because you have Rest Stock Munchlax in that one, even though Rest Stock Munchlax is a very poor option for stall, which is completely correct because it loses momentum you cannot even afford to lose, as stall in general already has problems with momentum. Also, oh yeah, I haven't even I had to move on this one yet. Spike's offense, though it doesn't work, I have seen some odd changes in that. Dwebble I generally dislike a lot. I really, really dislike Dwebble. This was like Shell Smash Dwebble, I think. And this was the Spike's Dwebble. I'm not even gonna go deeper into that. I'm gonna try LC doubles as well as Gen 4 LC, which might sound odd considering Gen 4 LC is offensive all the freaking way. There is about no stall to be found, but honestly, I'm still gonna try it. Let's actually see what I made of teams. Things like this. The reason why Oranberry's lack of, it was like Oranberry allowed you to take a hit from that thing, and if you then slack off, you can actually then beat him, because it was like Life Orb damage that put like one specific Pokemon in range, as well as beating some other Pokemon, allowing you to actually be a switch into those things. Oranberry just feels so wrong. Same counts for Badoo in this very situation. Rest, it feels like I should just put Eviolite on this, because I'm gonna say, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit lacking, however I do need to say, I might stream in some time. I am, if I can be bothered, going to put up more videos, and it's not. very, very lazy. So, goodbye.